What's up and good morning, War Report family. It's your guy, Ike Jones. We are back with another morning drop here this morning. Since the transfer portal has closed, we want to talk about past portal folks that might be a little disappointment for the Auburn fan base and how they performed here. Y'all know how we do right here, War Report style. Let's get straight to the money. Let's drop it on.
You are now listening to the War Report. Drop.
Morning drop time, sponsored by rogueshop.com. It's your guy, Ike Jones, Mike G in here this morning, talking a little bit about past folks that were Auburn folks, no longer Auburn folks, came and went. Maybe their stint here at Auburn was a little disappointment, a little bit of a disappointment for Auburn fans. Mike G, how you feeling this morning, man? You're muted, by the way.
Pretty good. The portal is open. There has not been as much action as a lot of people have hoped in the portal.
Yeah, not a lot to talk about as far as guys coming in. Actually, not a lot of talk about guys going out as much as you would have thought.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think the deadline to get into the portal has passed. So if you're not in the portal, you're going to be an Auburn Tiger next year.
Yeah, listen, unless you just want to sit out a season and chill on the sidelines. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, that's where we're at. Now, there are some guys who did get in the portal before the deadline, Ike, that, you know, it is what it is. We'll see where a lot of those guys end up. But, the portal the inception of the portal has only been a few years. It feels like it's been more. Now, you could always transfer in college football, but, TJ Finley's year that he came in, that was the first year the portal was open. So technically Brian Harson's first year, right? Yeah. Brian Harson's first year at Auburn, 2021. So we've seen a lot of guys make good decisions and a lot of guys make bad decisions when it comes to jumping into the portal. Yeah. And Auburn definitely is building a history there in that regard.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to list off players in the last year, so since the season ended. So we're talking after the end of last year, guys who have hit the portal. And what I want to do is figure out maybe who the top 2 or 3 most. I thought that dude was going to be one of the ones. All right. So we'll list them off in order of them hitting the portal. Armani Diamond.
Okay.
Xavion Capers. JJ Evans. Zach Calzada, Keandre Jones, DeZalen Worsham, Joko Willis, Jordan Ingram, Marquise Robinson, Zacchaeus Walker. Scroll up a little bit more here. Cameron Brown, Tavares Dawson, Desmond Tisdall, Jeffrey Imba, Powell Gordon, Tobichi Okoli, Craig McDonald, Dylan Brooks, Landon King, and Colby Smith. Those are all the guys since last season that have hit the portal from Auburn. Which of those guys would you say to yourself, looking back, before you answer that question, wait a minute. You know what the question is going to be. Before you answer that question, you guys go share the video. Share the video right now.
There you go.
Make sure you add us on whatever your social media platform you want to share it on. Facebook, I don't care if it's Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Just, mention the War Report in your comment. If it's on Facebook, if it's on Twitter, make sure you hit us up in that. Like the video right now and subscribe to the channel if you're first time getting in with us. We're going to continue the conversation here. But Mike G, what's your answer? The guy who, when they came in, you were like, oh, yeah, I'm really excited about this one. Just never really lived up to the hype that you had personally.
Capers was disappointing.
Factual, yeah.
Xavion Capers was really disappointing. And I think it was tough for me with Capers. But honestly, it was Capers, not Capers, but the other kid, the wide receiver guy, his name just flew out of my head, Ike. The one that we kept asking Harsin about, like, where is he?
Oh, you're talking about Elijah Canyon. Right?
Yeah, Elijah Canyon. Canyon ended up, I think, at Purdue.
Yes.
Right? And he was undoubtedly one of the most talented receivers Auburn had on the team. he was a playmaker. He would just come in and make plays, and for whatever reason, he couldn't do enough of what they wanted him to do to keep him on the field. Right? These are things that you hope disappear under the new coaching staff, where you got some super talented guy, but he's not seeing the field for non-football related reasons. But the things we heard about Canyon was he doesn't practice hard, and and not necessarily that he was just lazy. He was just kind of an aloof kid, is what we heard about him. And the coaching staff took that aloofness as apathy, and they didn't want to start him. They didn't want to play him. And when he did play, i.e. like Georgia State, Ike, we came in and he was making NFL catches. Double tapping on the sideline and just things that you don't see receivers do at the college level very often. So for me, it definitely is him, man. Like, I think it was really tough for me with him.
He was definitely a curious case. I think the guy for me, like there's a couple of guys that come to mind, and I'm going to list my top 3 names here of guys who I had high hopes for, and it just never seemed to materialize. For me, I think the number 1 guy is going to have to be Zach Calzada, because we just never saw him touch the field. Had a lot of, like, we talked to him during the offseason, and he was super confident in where his shoulder was and his ability to come in and make an impact. And you just never saw it. You never saw him able to come in here and do any, like, if he had hit the field one time and looked bad, maybe I'd feel a little bit better. Be like, okay, well, it's disappointing, but at least we know why he's not playing. Like, I just don't really even know what the whole situation was definitively about Zach Calzada as to why. I know the shoulder was never really fully healthy, but you definitely saw him throwing, and he was suited up for games, and it was just like, it was weird. Like, it was weird going to games, watching him warm up, and then him never touching the field, knowing what our quarterback situation was last season.
And Calzada had the whole "I beat Bama" allure thing around him, right?
Yeah, he was definitely the savior that was going to come in and be our Bama slayer, and it just never happened.
Never happened, right? Yeah. And it was so disappointing because we interviewed him, and he seemed to have the right attitude about work, and like just the fact that it just never came together for him was definitely one of those head scratchers. Like, swinging and missing the portal, Zach Calzada, right? And so a lot of people were just, well, there's a reason he left Texas A&M, and I hate that. I really do. But his shoulder, I think, never came together the way. Right. We never got a real story about Zach Calzada's shoulder. Right. It was just very interesting. Calzada was an interesting story for sure. Like, so I agree with that one. That one was a head scratcher.
My number 2 guy from the transfer portal era so far, in this last season, right? Like, we could go back to the beginning of the transfer portal. In this last season, I think my guy is going to be number 2. It's got to be Jeffrey Emba. Like, I was excited about Jeffrey Emba coming in. And when he left, now he wasn't necessarily a transfer in, right? Like, he was a guy who was, a JUCO guy and came in, but him leaving this offseason, which I thought he was primed for a breakout year, and maybe he still is going to have a breakout year at Purdue. He won't have one at Auburn, but you can't have the name Thanos and come in here and not dominate stuff. And I just never saw the Thanos. Like, he was one of those guys where it just never, I don't think you ever got the returns on the hype from Jeffrey Emba. And he left rather unceremoniously. Like, he got into the portal, or he hinted at wanting to go to the portal during the offseason. And then he actually did go and leave and get into the portal recently. Jeffrey Emba, definitely a guy I'm just like, yo, what, why?
The number 1 overall JUCO player,
right?
Number 1. I think that's part of, like, you can't be the number 1 overall anything and not come with some hype. So, a lot of people felt like he was a physical specimen and a freak, and that he would come in and dominate, but he was more of a project. And this is what we talk about when we talk about projecting talent.
Right.
And how it is a skill to project talent, because they took on a project, and he was physically, like, whoever rated him the number 1 overall JUCO player could have been wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Let's
Possible.
be real. It's possible they were wrong about, him, and they looked at measurables and, his physical attributes and decided that, hey, this is a guy who has the capability of being the number one overall JUCO player. But was he ever that guy? I don't think he was ever that guy.
So we're accustomed to really good JUCO products here at Auburn, right?
Oh,
So
for sure.
it's odd for us to get a guy rated as the best one and them not come in and be amazing.
And yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, it's just weird. I mean, we're the school that produced Nick Fairley.
Right. Cam Newton.
Yeah, right.
Guy, right.
Right. Yeah. So like, you're looking at the Nick Marshall.
Right.
Right. You're looking at these guys and just thinking, hey, and we've even had some JUCO running backs that have come through that have been really good. What was the guy that we had? He ended up playing for the Panthers in the league for a little bit, the running back after Ben Tate, the guy that came after Ben Tate.
You said he went to the Panthers?
Yeah, he played with the Panthers for a little bit.
Cameron Artis-Payne?
Yeah, he was a JUCO.
Was he? I don't even know.
Cameron Artis-Payne was a JUCO, right?
Okay.
And so it was we've had some good ones.
Yeah.
Right. And so, for Imbo to come in with all that hype, it just and not do anything here. Again, it just makes you wonder, was there a misevaluation issue?
Right.
Was there a development issue? Or was he just, you know what I mean? Or some combination of the two, and he just was never that guy.
Yet to be seen, right? Like he will have his opportunity at Purdue, I assume. That's why he transferred there.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see if he's up there wrecking the Big Ten next year. So
yeah,
I don't know. The last guy I'm going to mention, and this is one of your guys. It's Dylan Brooks, man. Like I mean, when Dylan Brooks came in, getting his release from his national letter of intent from Tennessee, there was legitimate like fanfare around that situation. We were like, oh, we got one from Tennessee, fast food gate got him, and we swooped in and took advantage. Never saw it on the field. Not even once, not even a little bit. Dylan Brooks is that guy. And this is a toss-up for me because there is a guy who's like number 3B. So it's 3A and 3B for me would be Landon King, because I was super excited about Landon King. Him not ever playing significant time. Landon King might be a little more. Actually, Dylan Brooks is a big disappointment. Landon King might be a bigger disappointment for me because we did actually get to see him on the field do some amazing things, and then never get an opportunity to really show what he had. As far as full, getting 20, 30 snaps a game. What could he do? I don't know, man. I might have to actually amend mine and say number 3 is Landon King.
Yeah, Landon's
even though he didn't have as much hype coming in, I think the hype around him after people saw him was like, whoa.
Yeah, it was just like, whoa. Like, could this kid be a hidden gem? And similar to Elijah Kenya, it just never came together for him for some reason.
Right.
And now he's leaving here, and I saw some people kind of dog him out on social media, Ike, on Twitter, and I just really low class behavior, dogging kids out for getting in the portal. He didn't say anything inflammatory about Auburn. He just said, "Hey, I'm entering the portal."
Right.
Right. And we expected that. If he's not going to play here, then he's got to go play somewhere. But I think some of why people are dogging him out is that disappointment around his potential. There are a lot of people who just wanted to see him do something here. And the fact that he never really got the shot is frustrating for fans. So the portal it's such an interesting, dynamic when it comes to college football now, right? Like, kids come in and, it's created this thing with the fans where fans think every kid that comes in the portal is going to be the savior of their program. And every kid that leaves, it's like, oh my God, everything's falling apart. Right. And the truth is Auburn has been very neutral in this portal period. So we're talking about some of the guys who maybe have come in or are leaving, and they were disappointments either coming or going. But ultimately, I think Hugh Freeze has done a good job of just kind of slowing like the leaks around the portal and making it into like, hey, listen, we're building a program, but as much as the portal can help you, you still got to build a program through recruiting and getting guys in from high school that can help you and developing your system and that can be your guys, right? So I get it. Like, listen, man, the portal gave somebody a Heisman winner last year.
Right.
Right. Let's be somebody who jumped in the portal last year
and
won the
that's
Heisman.
that's the danger of the portal, right? It's like everybody thinks that you're going to get Caleb Williams in the portal, or you're going to get,
for sure.
Jameson Williams, Sabama, or you're going to get Joe Burrow, right? Like you feel like everybody wants to hit a home run and be the new potential number one target, number one QB in the portal. And that's just not always the way it goes in the portal, man. Like sometimes you're going to get people who are just role players. You're going to get guys who are just going to be dynamic locker room guys. Like you're not going to always hit a home run. Like there's too many guys in the portal for all these guys to be that guy. Like there are literally thousands of kids in the portal. Like what are we sure? Like all of those aren't going to be the one. And mining through that to find somebody who's a program changer is difficult because a lot of these guys don't. So what you get was maybe some high school tape to run off of and maybe some practice film. Or if you're, transferring from Colorado, you don't get any tape. They're just like, hey, whatever you didn't get before you got up out of here, good luck to you, right? Like, I don't know.
Right.
So it's going to be difficult to figure out how to change your program through the portal. But what's not difficult to figure out is what you need to be doing this summer to get your heating and air together. We got Harmon Mechanical Heating and Air on board as the new sponsor of the War Report. You guys make sure you head over there. Harmon Mechanical Heating and Air, offering premier service to the Auburn area and surrounding areas. Keep your family safe with Harmon Mechanical. B. Will got an opportunity to have them come out and check out his house and get his heating and air, his HVAC system. Just a quick service repair. If you pay the monthly fee, you don't have to pay for the repair visits, right? So they can come and just check out your situation. Really great customer service when they came through. So you guys make sure you check them out. You can head to their website, harmonmechanical.com, or you can hit them up and schedule a visit via the phone, 334-219-0717. If you are in the Auburn area, make sure you hit up Harmon Mechanical and let them know the War Report sent you. Harmon Mechanical, we're there when you need air. But let's get back.
It's that time of year too. Like, it's humid. That time of year for sure. It's humid. If your AC ain't working, it's a public health emergency right now. So Harmon is out here saving lives for sure. Yeah. Hit them up.
Yeah, let's get to the comment section. B. Will's forehead's going to jump us off with a super chat saying, I thought we agreed J.J. Evans doesn't exist. Never seen the man before. He is a mythological creature. J.J. Evans. I don't, you know what? I won't be honest though. Like just seeing J.J. Evans on your roster as a guy at his size, and it was very disappointing to never see him hit the field for sure. I don't even did J.J. Evans get a transfer portal destination? Where did he go? Like, I feel like that got he is going to North Alabama. So J.J. Evans headed to North Alabama. It's just, it's just such a disappointment, man. Like he came in with a bit of hype, and I just don't know what's going to happen with J.J. Evans and his, he had injury issues and all that kind of thing, but just never really ever, like, I don't know if anybody ever did an interview with J.J. Evans. I've never seen J.J. Evans do anything that made him a real person.
Yeah, you're going to have kids like this. Every cycle, you're going to have kids like this that come in and they're just like not. I mean, we heard his name, sure, and maybe he made some plays during a spring game or something, but like, he's not.
No.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's just not anything, man. I think you just got to remember, man, every guy that gets recruited is not going to be somebody. That's it.
Yeah.
Bottom line. Every guy that gets recruited is not going to be somebody.
But he was a 4-star coming out of high school. A lot of high hopes for J.J. Evans, and hopefully he'll still be able to find a good home at North Alabama and then transitions to something bigger and better for him. B. Will's forehead jumps back in again and says the biggest disappointment in and out is Calzada by a long shot.
Yeah, he was supposed to be like the safety net, and he was supposed to be kind of like that. Again, that guy that comes in and plays for a year, he was supposed to be like your perfect 1-year stopgap. Come in, ball out, leave, right? And let your guys like Robbie get some, I mean, I just don't know, dude. Like Calzada was so disappointed. I thought he had the right stuff.
Yeah.
It's so hard when you talk to the guys like we did, and it
Right.
was like, oh man, I thought he had the right stuff, and because he didn't, it is what it is.
Yeah. Haley jumps in and says Landon King is the most disappointing for sure, especially after his first season.
Landon, yeah, I mean, this is gonna be a popular opinion.
Yeah,
this is gonna be a real popular opinion. Just don't trash him on Twitter, please.
yeah. I don't get the weird.
Yeah,
I don't get the weird energy that people have. And listen, it's gonna get so much worse. Like I saw your tweet when you were telling people to stop doing that, and there are some people who, when they leave, it's gonna be really bad when it happens. And
right.
I don't know. I think I might just like not get on Twitter the entirety of that day when it happens, because I just don't want to see all of it. I don't really ever have any joy in seeing anybody exit the program, no matter how much I like or dislike them. I just don't want to see people going crazy about their exodus from the program. Whether like you liked them a lot, it's like, oh my God, how could they leave us? What happened? Or you never liked them, it's like, thank goodness, and you're throwing parties about it. Like I'm not that guy. I don't think I'll be that guy. We're gonna get on here and we're gonna talk about them being gone, but I'm never gonna celebrate somebody leaving. So
for sure.
Anyway, it's going to be interesting. Will be interesting, but I agree with you. The energy around Landon King is super weird. So it is what it is.
Yeah,
Chris Dixon jumps in and says Landon
had anything to anybody. He like never did anything to anybody.
No, he was
right.
he was a good kid. He did everything he was asked to do. So I don't know. But anyway, Landon had that great grab in the end zone, but when we saw him run, not very athletic, in my opinion. Yeah, he was slow. He was slow as pond water on a cold day. Like he just was not moving super quickly for a guy who was an outside wide receiver potentially. I said this before on Sunday. He probably should have stayed at tight end. So hopefully, wherever he lands, they will put him at tight end, bulk him up, and let him go in and dominate linebackers instead of trying to run against cornerbacks and safeties.
Right.
John Boyson says Imba was definitely the biggest letdown to me. Yeah, he was a big letdown.
Yeah, that's gonna be a popular opinion too.
The name Thanos, you can't come in with that. It's like nicknames, man. Listen, bro, like so here's the thing. I wonder, who gave him the nickname Thanos? Is that something he named himself? Did he earn that nickname in the JUCO ranks? Like, where did the name Thanos come from? Because that's important here.
Yeah,
because if he named himself Thanos, we got to have a separate conversation about Jeffrey Imba, about like, hey, young man, you can't just go around giving yourself nicknames that you haven't earned in some sort of way. But if other people named him Thanos, then we have to have a conversation with them about like, so what did you see that made you feel like he was a world conqueror? Because it never materialized on this level. Again, hopefully Purdue will be a change of scenery and a change of his fortunes. Wish him the best out there.
Yeah.
Christian Crawford jumps in with a question, says, how are y'all feeling about the energy of this team? This is a big pivot. Does the transfer portal disappointments and QB questions make y'all feel uneasy about the fall, or is it too early to say?
I don't think it's too early to feel uneasy. Personally, there are so many question marks that uneasy is probably a very normal human emotion at this point. Yeah. Especially with how they're talking about the quarterback position. And this is a quarterback driven league, man. Like, college football, think about it. Like, what was it? 3 out of the first 4 picks in the NFL draft, quarterbacks.
Right. Yeah.
Quarterbacks. Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson. I mean, right? 2 of those guys were from this league.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how you can see the uneasiness around the uncertainty around quarterback and not feel some uneasiness about the season. Certainly. Right. Now you're going to be uneasy about what you haven't seen. So like if it's Robbie, like people haven't seen him play well consistently. Right. And so people are uneasy about it. Whoever you bring in from the portal, you're going to be uneasy about that guy too, because he ain't Caleb Williams. Right. He's not going to be, right? So you're going to be uneasy there. I think uneasiness is warranted personally.
Yeah. The first part of this question, feeling about the energy of the team. I don't think the team has a bad energy right now. I think that there are some spots that they need to work on. But that's not unusual. I don't think that they're in a bad place. Here's the thing. When you are already, and let's be clear, not a good team, you really can't afford any chinks in the armor to show, right? Like you need to figure. And so like the fact that there are still spots where you're not sure about that when you're already a bad team, being a bad team, but you're together and you're unified and you're moving in the right direction. Wonderful. Being a bad team and you've got some people lagging behind as far as their commitment, or you don't really know where they stand, or they don't know where they stand. That's not good. So there are, I'm going to be honest with myself and say, yes, I am concerned right now about where Auburn football is and what our potential can be going into the future, because there's some things that I don't feel like we've shored up. And I don't know that I see a plan in motion. I don't have to see it because I'm not in the building. I'll steal the quote from the much maligned Brian Harsin of, you guys aren't in the meeting room. Yeah, I'm not in the meeting room. I'm not in the building. So I don't know. But from the outside looking in, there are some things that concern me about the direction that this team is moving.
Yeah, agreed.
But is it too early to say anything? Like, I wouldn't be ready to put a fall prediction together because there's still things that can happen in the transfer portal that we don't know. There's still the summer.
It's way too early.
Yeah, I've said, the summer is really where teams start to gel, because that's when you start to solidify who's actually on your roster. And then you start to do a lot of the, building towards what the actual plan is going to be. And you start to solidify where people are on the depth chart going into fall. So there's a lot of time to fix the things, but there are things that need to be fixed for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Ben Budworth asks another hypothetical that I think is interesting here. And he says, bigger letdown, Imba or Trey Orr? Which French guy
Trey Orr
let us down the most?
Trey Orr, definitely. Trey Orr was a 5-star prospect. Let's be real. Come on, man. Like in college basketball, when you're a 5-star, you're supposed to be instant impact.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be instant impact. I don't think that Imba was ever that much in the instant impact category. I think people were willing to accept development from him. But in college basketball, with so many one and dones, when a guy comes in, if he's truly a 5-star, he should make an impact on the floor year one. He's not a project. So for me, it's Trey Orr. One of the biggest letdowns in recent memory in like Auburn sports.
Yeah, I'll have to agree that it's Trey Orr, because, and this is the same reason why when I, backtracked off of my Dylan Brooks win at number 3 with Landon King, it's because I saw Trey Orr play ball over when they made their trip to Israel. And I said to myself, okay, this kid's got potential. And I never saw the Israel Trey Orr step foot on a basketball court again. Trey Orr got minutes since then. I never saw that same player on a basketball court. Maybe a few minutes during the LSU game last year, you were like, okay, this is the guy that maybe can make it. Just never happened for him. And then for him to leave and have offers to Power 5 schools offer him, and him to end up at UC Santa Barbara, it just was a head scratch of a situation from the minute you hit go. That was another situation where coach got in trouble, and we were like, we're going to swoop in and take the 5-star out of their class with Will Wade getting in trouble at LSU. And it never turned. Him and Dylan Brooks are literally the same person, right? Like they are the 5-star kid that we got from somebody else's class once the coach got in trouble, that never did anything for Auburn that was significant.
Right.
So yeah, I'm going to have to go with Trey Orr. And to your point, because it's basketball and you have you have a much better shot at getting on the floor as a 5-star athlete on a basketball team than you do on a football team. Much better shot. And you expect that 5-star guy to be an impact player day one when they hit the court. Never was that guy. And hopefully, again, I wish him the best of luck. Hopefully he can transform into that guy, but he's got a long way to go in his development. But yeah, Auburn needs to stay away from French players. That's basically the moral of that story. We're going to get out of here, man, though. We appreciate you guys dropping in with us once again this morning. TheRogueShop.com is where you need to head right now if you're feeling any sort of anxiety around the season. Christian, if you feel anxious about the season, RogueShop.com, man. Head on over there. Use code RAPPORT when you do, and we can make sure that you get a little something off of your purchase. They are America's #1 dispensary. We'll be back at you guys again tomorrow morning with another drop. Before you get out of here, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, tell somebody that you love them. All of those things. I don't even know why I added that last part, but somebody needs to hear it. I love you. We are out of here. As always, War Eagle. Peace.